I know you say you want like pretty much everybody, but specifically, who do you want the most?
Everybody. I don't got no picks. There ain't nobody that I really want.
I know you say you want like pretty much everybody, but specifically who you want the most everybody. I don't got no. It's Vin Davis has returned to the ring, and the stage is set already with an intense face-off between them Baltimore champion and his opponent from Washington, D.C. While many are unimpressed by the matchup, the outcome might be a big shocker to boxing fans. And they've begun in the toughest way with some bits of trash talking to sew things up. Roach has not only promised to come at Gervonta Davis with full force, he has also warned the world champion to be assured he isn't coming in the same manner as his previous 30 opponents. As much as we know, the last 30 boxers to face off against Vin Davis have mostly ended the fights with their back on the canvas anyways. Lamont Roach comes with so much confidence, and most importantly a world title. Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach have been able to create an atmosphere of war since their fight was approved a few days ago. Lamont Roach isn't seeing himself as an underdog, not even with his victory over an opponent Vin Davis had fought in the music past. Davis, on the other hand, is seeing Lamont Roach exactly in the same light as the previous 30 opponents. Hopefully Tank Davis doesn't underestimate him so much. However, fans expect a more refined version of Vin Davis, one more violent and brutal than the version that knocked out Frank Martin in the 8th round in his last fight in June. This is the first time in a while Tank would be fighting twice in a year, and with this, we either see a 31st knockout win for him or a first career loss. We all know the former seems more music likely, but boxing is a game of shockers, isn't it? In an extended discussion about the near finality of Davis Roach, Pro Box TV's Malik Naji said Tuesday that the fight represents an opportunity for Roach to build his name recognition and explore a restricted path to victory against the bigger knockout artist. Davis Roach has been a solid fighter, but he hasn't been at the level of notoriety to be in a fight like this. I don't think this is a fight that should go on pay-per-view, said Malik Naji, a former welterweight champion. If Roach had been a bona fide champion who's made 5-6 title music defenses instead, Malik Naji said the bout represents a submit your brand kind of thing. Keep Davis winning so he can look like a winner, but people want to see more. That's not all Davis's fault. The 29-year-old expressed willingness to fight veteran 3-division champion Lomachenko only to see the Ukrainian announce he wanted to be with his family as his war-torn country confronts its war with Russia. This year, Zappa and Davis are now fighting on separate cards in November. The fight itself is a hard pill to swallow, Algeri said on Tuesday's edition of Pro Box TV's Top Stories. Malik Naji elaborated, when you look at the lightweight division from a boxing perspective, why pull up a guy from other weight classes when there are fresh young lightweights and lots of viable fights for Davis? Malik Naji praises Roach as a crafty little veteran. It's a springboard for Pro Box. Roach has shown a solid chin. If he can bring those skill sets, he could be a problem, Algeri said. If Roach can stack up early rounds on the scorecards, because Davis usually starts slow and puts all his eggs in the basket, that he'll score a knockout. Roach could out-hustle, out-finesse Davis and survive late. Yes, it's possible we can see an upset that moved Malik Naji. If Roach wins it, be the upset of the year. Is that what we want on pay-per-view? The adds, this is not a trash fight. Lamont is smaller and lacks the firepower of Davis. Algeri too expects Davis to wear down Roach because his physical and mental pressure will be too stressful for the junior lightweight fighter. WBA lightweight champion Vin Davis is making his much anticipated return to the ring against WBA super featherweight champion Lamont Roach sometime in December. My team came up with it. That was you. There are a couple of dates being tossed around for the title fight, but nothing specific has been confirmed quite yet. Something similar was going on with the venue as well. Some reports claimed it could be in Washington, D.C., since both Davis and Roach are from the Baltimore, Washington metropolitan area. Meanwhile, a Las Vegas venue made more sense. Regardless, the Baltimore native has now hinted at a location where the fight may happen. Gervonta, you've knocked out a lot. You've knocked out a lot of good fighters, beat some really good fighters. How much do you want to prove it against someone who's considered elite and the pound for pound? How, according to Davis's recent post on Instagram, where he took a jab at Frank Martin, Houston, Texas, seems to be the chosen city for the bout. The news has already generated buzz, with stars like Rick Boo, Tank Dell, and others expressing excitement. Earlier today, Tank took to Instagram to share a powerful moment from his last fight against Frank Martin. The post featured a still from the 8th round just after Davis had knocked Martin out to successfully defend his WBA title. Alongside the image, Davis teased his next fight in December, captioning the post with "December Houston, the one lonely baby." Frank, how much does that matter to you? There's not too many people on the power, my Shakur. Yeah, maybe El Mano is still elite. He's elite, but yeah. Initial reports had suggested Davis's bout against Lamont Roach could take place on either December 21st, the same night as the highly anticipated Alexander Usyk-Tyson Fury rematch in Saudi Arabia, or December 14th. Given the magnitude of the Usyk-Fury rematch, it's unlikely premier boxing champions would schedule Davis's fight on the same night, making December 14th a more plausible option. Nevertheless, the location details alone were enough to prompt these sports personalities to share their thoughts in the post-comment section. Tim Wright is betting big on Davis. While it's no secret that Davis had quite the pull in the community, nobody could have guessed just a single post would attract so many people. Memphis Grizzlies point guard Jonar used an emoji to share his thoughts about Davis. He commented with a gorilla emoji to emphasize Davis's power. Davis is known to end fights with one punch, so having animalistic power shouldn't be a surprise. Meanwhile, wide receiver for the Houston Texans Tank Dell had a request for the WBA lightweight champion drown him. Dell wrote, interestingly, Dell shares his nickname with Davis. Tank, another NFL player, the defensive end for the Las Vegas Raiders, Max Crosby, also joined the conversation. Like Morin, Crosby also used emojis to share his take. He wrote with 3 bird emojis. Notably, Crosby uses boxing in his training, according to a report from Fox 5 Vegas. It helps him improve hand speed technique and understanding of distance. Former Tampa Bay Buccaneers tight end Tim Wright seems to have found a huge money-making opportunity with Gervonta Davis's recent announcement. I would have to go with Tank, though. I would have to go with Tank. Your M will be moving up. What would he have to do to make that fight? Oh, he move it up. Yeah, it would be no. He's the champion at 30. He wrote, let me get my bet money ready. Christmas gone be lovely. It's worth mentioning that Davis is facing criticism for fighting Lamont, who is from a lower weight class, making their bout look like a cakewalk for Tank. Even former undisputed heavyweight champion Mert Bo joined the conversation to confirm his presence at the venue. Jevin, this is your big Uncle Bo. I will be there. Just missed you when I was in DC. Oh, okay, yeah, I had to go with Tank. What does he need to do to make this competitor? Don't trade with him. You got to box, move time up. But it's difficult when you fight a Bo. Stated Bo has previously shown his support for Davis, and the duo have been spotted together as well. That said, it appears it's not just the fans excited about Gervonta Davis' upcoming fight. Even popular sports personalities are looking forward to the punches. Difficult tanks you up with all types of shots, man. And also, like I tell people, Tank and box when he wanted to be in. Just like his last press conference with Frank Martin, the Baltimore champion is super assured of his capabilities in the ring. Is that like part of the job of a great trainer, though? Is you take that on too, as well as just training fight you. He's a bit of a psychologist himself, having given Ryan Garcia his biggest win. Derek James was prepared to do the same for Frank Martin, as he's been seen in their heated press conference, maintaining a very passive countenance as expected, with Davis firing some shots at him. As both fighters prepared for fight week, they were looking to build from the experience of their first press conference, the press conference for an event that also had David Benavidez versus Alexander Usyk for the World Boxing Council interim super middleweight title. Happened in June at the press conference event in Las Vegas, where all 4 fighters of this doubleheader presented themselves for the Saturday, June 15th event. When Tank Davis jumped on stage, he was fired up and got his own show going in front of the cameras and the microphones. Frank Martin seemed a little tense during the entire exchange, as Davis seemed in his element with some controversial jokes as they started talking on the mics. The situation got more heated when they stood up for their face-off. Warren made the mistake to place his hand on Davis's face, and the champion slapped it down. The person who was avoiding conflict in the middle had a slight moment of panic, but the situation diffused rapidly. Once again, things heating up already for this main event, the WBA. But Davis had another moment where he joked he wanted to meet Martin's companion, either his wife or